Hey everybody, I just want to hope everybody's doing well tonight. It's actually Thursday morning in the East, and it's the night in the Pacific of the United States, the West Coast. And I'm getting this out as a point of information. So this is a short live stream, or it's intended to be a short live stream. And I'm going to follow up on it tomorrow. Also, I'm reminding everybody that I will be, well, not I, well, but Joseph Almendarez will be at the Avengers exhibit at Disney World Land tomorrow. Disney World is in Florida. Disneyland is in California, of course. Now, I want to make sure that I've got this out, and I'm trying to keep up. I can't wait for Loki. June 9th, Loki. Woohoo! All right. Woo! Woohoo! Starting June 9th, I believe. That looks like it's going to be pretty cool. But I digress. Okay? But I digress. You know, if you're following the project, the Howard Terminal project, you probably noticed that the negative comments about the recently released draft environmental impact report were reported to be negative. Or excuse me, I said that there's a double statement. But at any rate, it's important you know that that wasn't always the case with respect to design review aspects of Howard Terminal. And if you're wondering if I'm pointing to an effort to generate an opposition as opposed to there being an organic one, you would be correct. And I'm pointing to the Bay Conservation and Development Commission report that was posted on 3/22/2021 and is the focus of my StreamYard. And it shows right where one can see it, that guess what? And I want to show it to you in one moment once I pull up the page, but that the comments regarding the design were generally positive, about the master plan were generally positive. That was before the East Bay Stadium Alliance organized. Think about what I'm saying, okay? That was before the East Bay Stadium Alliance organized. And it was before there was an apparent organized paid opposition that in some cases produced paid media or apparently paid media, right? So just putting this out there to make you think on things a bit more. Not that you haven't thought about things a bit more at all, but look at this, folks. This is from the document, which is the appendix here. Appendix A, Design Review Board Staff Report, April 5th, 2021. That's what this reads, okay? That's what this reads. And it says Oakland Athletics, Howard Terminal Master Plan, BCDC, that's Bay Conservation and Development Commission, comment log. All right. That's what I've highlighted. You can see I've highlighted it there, right? So it says general notes, the ballpark in general. I'm highlighting this here. And the link to this, I'm putting in the report itself. Here's the link. Okay. LINK, so that you can grab it. And see, there it is. That's the link, right? bcdc.ca.gov/DRB/2021/04-05-Oakland-Athletic-Appendix-A.PDF. Boom. Okay, you can have a look at it. Boom. And it reads as follows. The part that I'm about to highlight next is here. Okay. Says the ballpark development in general was well received by the board. Comments that it is reticent of a Olympic plan were voiced, and the board is looking forward to seeing the next level of design in detail. And someone asked, does the project have a bird-friendly design? Remember, this is the Bay Conservation Development Commission. Please address the general topic of wildlife compatibility with the project at the next scheduled meeting. And the response is that bird-friendly design considerations will be included as part of the ballpark design pursuant to Oakland's bird-friendly policies. For all other buildings, these requirements will form part of their individual design and approval process. Connections to the waterfront. Both the board and staff are concerned with how the project will address compatibility with existing port operations. Please consider adding grade separated crossings, that's here, to avoid mobility conflicts and ensure the public safety access to the site on both game and non-game days. And it adds that a pedestrian grade separated crossing is included in the DEIR as a mitigation measure. Jefferson Street is the most likely location for the crossing. A vehicular grade separated crossing may be required by the Oakland City Council as described in the alternatives chapter of the DEIR. Brush Street is likely location for the crossing if required. The rail crossings are problematic. This is a comment. The rail crossings are problematic in relation to moving people to the waterfront and moving goods to and from the port. How will the project address these circulation conflicts? How can the project improve or remove these conflicts? Response. The project includes a significant investment in railroad safety, both in the grade separated crossings described above and the at-grade safety improvements between the project frontage and Broadway. These at-grade improvements include quad gates and signals at every intersection, safety fencing, vehicular circulation changes to limit turn movements across tracks from Embarcadero, and traffic control officers on game days to manage the flow of pedestrians around the track. One board member requested a rendering to show how the project would engage with the Jack London neighborhood beyond the entrance of the ballpark. And it says, see renderings from DEIR and exhibit set. So you get the idea, right? My point is that this is contrary to the picture that you're given in a lot of the media, which is, the review regarding its environmental impacts has been negative, the public comments have been negative. Sure, when the DER was released, there were negative comments there as well. My only point was that happened after the emergence of the East Oakland Stadium Alliance and an organized, monetized opposition to the Howard Terminal Ballpark. But prior to that, there was this in 2019, all right, that was posted on the website, of the Bay Conservation and Development Commission. You see what I'm getting at? Okay, you see what I'm getting at? So if the opposition to this project was that robust, why is it that we didn't see it then as opposed to now? Is it because it was a pre-pandemic period? That could have something to do with it. I think that has something to do with it. And does it happen because the opposition to this was just ramping up and concentrated within the current maritime industry, which has said it would negotiate with the city of Oakland and the athletics regarding the layout of Howard Terminal with respect to their needs? and there's enough money both from the state of California and from the tax increment financing districts to really meet and serve their needs beyond the dreams of avarice, I think. Okay. So here's the link right here. It's there. I'm going to make sure that it is in the description as well. In fact, I'm going to edit this, and I'm writing you have undoubtedly seen a number of negative comments about the draft environmental impact report for the Howard Terminal Ballpark project. But have you seen the 2019 report from the Bay Conservation and Development Commission? The report that predates the the East Oakland Stadium Alliance. Okay. Hey, John Marks, how you doing? That report is one you must read to see a balanced view of Howard Terminal. That is at this link. Okay. And then I'm pressing save changes. Changes saved. So that link there, okay, is in the description, which will also become a blog post when this is done. Okay. So there you go. And as I said before, hey, John Marks, how you doing? But want to get that out there because, again, it's important that you realize something that really is starting to annoy me about this project, that you have to ask where was the hue and cry regarding Harwell Terminal when the A's originally proposed going there? I said at the time, hey, you know what? It was a dumb decision. And I believed, and I'm going to wear that, I believed that Coliseum was better, but there was a gigantic problem. The gigantic problem is the groundwater issue, and it keeps getting worse, and we're not doing anything about it. And as I've said before, and I'll say again, it impacts not just the Oakland Coliseum, but I-880, the Oakland Airport Business Park, and the Oakland Airport, and approximately 48% of East Oakland from a population standpoint. That's like a gigantic chunk of Oakland. And we're not, as I talked to a friend of mine who hadn't heard from in a long time, she called me today about it, we're not doing anything about it. And I'm sick and tired of Oakland finding reasons to do nothing. And that's what this adds up to once again. Now, the news that I brought out yesterday, or the day before really, about the possible addition of assistance from the state of California regarding the project is really great news. But, you know, it's not cemented, and it won't be until June 15th if it is. That does not erase the fact that Oakland has a problem that boils down to a lack of will and initiative to complete big projects. And now, with all of this money sloshing around from the federal government and from California itself, because California has had so many startup tech millionaires and billionaires that it gained a gigantic windfall as a result that no other state in the entire country can lay claim to having or come close to because of that. Hey, thank those tech billionaires you deride, thank those tech millionaires you make fun of. Their wealth and their desire to pay taxes based on that wealth is what is going to save California moving forward. Facts. Okay. So part of that will help Howard Terminal. I hope they allow it to. I mean, that's a lot of money, $100 billion total, moving around there, and helps us pay for a $54 billion deficit and have a ton of money left over. Okay. A ton of money. And it's not done because we could very well see a round 2 of this come next budget cycle, next year. Right? So John Marks is asking, does East Oakland Stable Lines have something? I don't know what you mean by that question, John. Maybe try refining it. Kev Cole says this project needs to get approved. It does. And he says, don't hold your breath, Zinni. I'm not worried about this thing one way or another. I'm not handicapping this per se. I'm simply saying I guess maybe I am. All right, huh? But my point is that the city of Oakland has to decide once and for all if it wants to solve its problems, rather than what we've done for the 2 generations that I've been involved as an adult in Oakland, from a career perspective. And that is always having these problems around and then doing nothing to solve them. Like for homelessness, Jerry Brown should be responsible for the homeless problem we created. Why? Because he got in the state of California, he got rid of redevelopment, which killed the gigantic affordable housing budget we had and the state had. And he had the temerity to say and criticize that he didn't want subsidized housing, if you will, in his downtown Oakland. He said that last year early. Okay. So my point is, all right. So he says, are the A's really going to leave if Howard Terminal gets voted down? Let me put it this way. I'm going to say this flat out. There is not a deal to be made right now in Nevada for a host of reasons. Okay. And this picture changes because we're in the middle of budget season. And of course, we had the athletics news. We had the news about the windfall. And so you're left to really handicapping it. You can't just simply make a guess and spitball this. That's wrong. And not only that, I'll go back to what I've said many, many times. Guessing at something removes the desire to find out why something didn't happen. I'm here to tell you why something worked or can work or didn't work, and then follow it along. That's my job, because I've been in this business and I know it better than the other people that cover it. And they've made many, many mistakes, and they continue to make a ton of mistakes and they say, well, they're journalists and all this bullshit. Whereas in the old days when the news mattered and I was blogging and started blogging, they would, like Larry Beal, Channel 7 would have me on and all that. But then, of course, he did it because I was with SF Gate, but it was under my own brand. It was like I didn't exist anymore. That's wrong. Support Black media. But I digress. But my point is that even if it wasn't me, there were other bloggers who were white that the white media folks who worked in mainstream had no problem calling on. even to this day, like my friend Richard Lieberman, who I went to Skyline High School with. All right, well, actually, Richard and I go back to Bret Hart Junior High. Richard writes stuff that's sexist. Um, Richard is extremely old school in a way that is unfortunate because it doesn't speak to his best nature. But Richard, well, that's another story. He pissed off. At any rate, I was going to say he pissed off a bunch of media people. We got a little power hiccup there. It's very weird. He pissed off a bunch of media people. Did Richard? Female media people in his comments, and they took out a letter. But would you believe some of the same female media types that work for publications like the Mercury News had white male media types who would regularly quote Richard? Okay, so hope you can see this, but I'm back. At any rate, I'm right back. BACK back. Okay. So anyway, my point is that all that's off the topic. But my point is that we don't do that anymore like we should. So they don't quote me, so I don't quote them. That's changing a little bit. I saw something where SF Gate did regarding United Airlines travel news that I put out on Oakland News Now. But on the whole, at a time when really the journalists and the media people need help, right? They don't collaborate. And then they come up with these weird issues, and there's a lot of things they don't understand. I digress, okay? Back to the main point regarding Howard Terminal and Las Vegas. Las Vegas does not want to spend public money on this project, okay? Let me show you something. Las Vegas, I repeat, Las Vegas does not want to spend public money on this project, okay? There's no appetite to spend public money on this project, all right? Thanks, Holden, by the way, for retweeting this. There's no appetite to do that. Let me show you what's going on per Mitch Akers in the Las Vegas Review Journal of really not too long ago. And I'll just simply do it. Let's see, how is I going to do it? Sisolak, LAK, Sisolak. Figured it out here. And latest, let's see here. Trying to find let's see here. Johnny Matheny is going to be on. Yay! I'm interviewing Johnny Matheny, good old Johnny Love, this Friday. This Friday. Hold on a second. But anyway, let me try this. Dave Cavall. There. Okay. Latest. Latest. And keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And I think it's very important you see this for yourself. And try this another way. Dave Caval, Las Vegas. Boom. It's there. And okay. That was yeah. Let's see here. It's this ordering that system that he has is not that I'm going to do this another way. I'm just going to talk about it. And the reason is this. I was going to show you the article. Forget it. In the Review Journal, Mitch Akers went around Carson City, and I don't think he actually did it physically. I think he did it by, remote, but that's beside the point. And he asked, okay, and he asked if there was any appetite to spend public money on the athletics, and the answer was no. There was one legislator, Sagehorn, I think is, that said that the possibility of altering the original SB1 legislation that the Nevada legislature passed October 16th, 2016, for the Raiders, that has wording that focuses only on the NFL organization team, could be modified for the athletics. And he said that would be a welcome discussion. But that's far different from there actually being one. I've said it before, and I'll say it again with respect to Nevada. First of all, Las Vegas is very interested in increasing its visitorship and sees sports as a way to do that. However, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and the public dollars are not what they were. And there's no one like Sheldon Adelson, rest in peace, to go and pay for an army of lobbyists to arm twist legislators to get money that ordinarily would not have been offered or approved. Remember, the Raiders got their subsidy by the thinnest, well, I think a margin of 4 votes. Okay? It was thin. And at one point, it looked like the thing was going to get completely tanked when the Nevada Department of Transportation, at the last minute prior to the vote, dropped this bombshell of a report that was going to cost $900 million in transportation infrastructure improvements around the stadium because of the stadium. And it actually opens a question now that should be asked in the middle of the pandemic. Are they actually going to get any dollars like that for infrastructure? I need to look at that because that's on the table, right? And then they came this close, did the current Nevada legislature. They came this close to actually taking up, well, they did take it up, but passing a law that would have attached a new tax to sports and entertainment tickets. Do you realize that if they passed that legislation, it would have killed the non-relocation agreement contract? That's right, because that contract specifically says, hey, you adopt a special tax that's targeted to the Raiders, we have the raison d'etre to begin to depart. That's written in black and white. But you know what? It got killed in committee, so danger gone. It doesn't mean it can't happen again. All right? The climate's changed. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have left the area that had jobs. Las Vegas is a shadow of its former self. Sad to say. And it's got a lot of work to do to come back. So they're at a fork in the road. They can go either way with the A's, but as this unfolds, remember I was talking about the importance of keeping your eye on developments. As this unfolds, what once looked like a possibility to me particularly with respect to California's monetary prowess compared to Las Vegas, which has nothing, and Nevada has nothing to compare to California, like the wealth of its tech industry. All right. With that rearing its head, the chances that Nevada will want to try to accommodate the A's on the A's terms are going down to this. And these are new developments, folks. A few days ago, I would have said, nah. But the way this environment is changing with this budget news that news that Gavin brought out, and then the modifications and everything else, no, not at all. And then with Dave going to Nevada, and on the heels of Clark County pulling money out of the debt coverage reserve for the stadium bonds the week before to avoid a default, what does he do? He mentions we want not only public money, but he lets it drop to the press that's listening. Hey, why not a Raiders-sized one? Dope. Okay? So there you go. All right? So he says, are the Raiders really going to leave if Howard Terminal gets voted down? And again, that leads to this response. I think if Howard Terminal gets voted down, the A's are as likely to leave as they are to stay, because the appetite to spend public money on them someplace else isn't there right now. Okay. It's a coin flip. All right. Oakland or Vegas, as long as there's a new Ballpark, he's fine. Okay, whatever. I saw in articles that some in Las Vegas and Nevada government are willing to spend. That's exactly, Kev. Thank you. Personally, I prefer Vegas, but don't mind Oakland. Rosen, that was referring to my little hiccup there. Back. I'm back. And then, speaking of Vegas, the Golden Knights are going to overtime against the Avalanche. In game 2, scores 2-2. Thank you. Oakland is a crap hole. All the better reason to spend gigantic dollars on infrastructure improvements to turn water into wine. That's the whole purpose of redevelopment, RC, the name of my late uncle. That's the old purpose. That's the whole purpose of these expenditures, to turn water into wine. Okay, it's not the state of something. Remember, the only constant in life, unfortunately, is change. Change. Okay. All right. It's 1:16 in the East. I'm negotiating with my good buddy here. Yes. So, all right. Johnny Matheny, Johnny Love of local Bay Area fame, will be my guest. Longtime friend. We go back a long way. We'll be on 1:30 p.m. PST, 4:30 p.m. EST here. Johnny Love, one of the kings, arguably the king, of San Francisco Bay Area bar nightlife. Johnny Love. We're going to talk about it. He went through a challenge during the pandemic, and looks like he's coming out the other side, in better shape, which is music to the ears of his friends like me. And it's he's a great guy that he's always got a smile on. He always has a positive look and thought and about things. He's a guy that you want to went through a brick wall for. Great guy. Okay. And again, I'm delighted that he's on the comeback. He's going to give us a view of what he went through. He went to protest against, and rightly so, against the government and what was going on with the shutdown stuff. Or as I said, as I said, forced closure without compensation. All right. If you're going to have somebody close their business, pay them to do it. Right. Pay them to do it. Avalanche win 3-2. Thanks. Pay them to do it. Okay. Avalanche leads series 2-0. Wow. Come on, Golden Knights. Anyway, Johnny Matheny, the legendary, as you can see, the legendary Johnny Love, when I interviewed him at the North Beach Festival. Wow, I think that goes back to 2009. Anyway, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. here this Friday. All right. So, and with that, I will say, everybody, I'll catch you later, okay? Hey, by the way, I have some more surprises coming. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com, and that ends this broadcast. We'll see you. Thanks, everybody.